chilling 911 call led police to a shocking discovery. Part 2. It started with a flicker. Not a blackout. Not a search. Just a flicker. Across devices in 7 cities. Screens dimmed for exactly 1.3 seconds at the same moment. May 9th, 3:03 a.m. The exact time when Riley Thorne disappeared. The same hour every previous subject was last seen. Security systems logged no intrusions. Networks showed no breach. But something passed through. Every affected screen displayed a frame. One frame, too fast to be seen by the naked eye. But one technician caught it, by accident, while reviewing server logs in Los Angeles. He slowed the footage down. Frame by frame, there it was. An image, not of a person, not of a face, but of a wall, covered in photographs. Thousands of them, stacked edge to edge, floor to ceiling. And in the center, blurry but unmistakable, a silhouette. Gray hoodie, camera in hand. Forensics enhanced the frame. In the bottom right corner, partially obscured by shadow, a number, 47 of 50. 3 new collections. Unconfirmed identities. No names released, but 2 locations were verified. One in Montreal, the other Johannesburg. The third? Still unknown. But investigators believe the target was a communications expert who disappeared from the United Nations Cyber Division 5 hours before the flicker. Meaning now only 3 remain. The countdown is accelerating. The gallery is closing in. And for the first time, the agency is considering a possibility they've refused to acknowledge publicly. That the gallery is not a person, not a group, not even a network, but a protocol, self-replicating, self-preserving, an algorithm embedded within a system of images, spreading through surveillance, archives, social media, seeking not recognition but documentation. An unkillable archive, designed to preserve the fear of those who know too much. It doesn't care who sees it. It only cares who understands it. Because understanding activates the frame. That's what happened to Subject 47. Recovered footage from a train station in Munich showed her scrolling through an article titled, "The Negative Man, a Pattern of Missing Witnesses." At exactly 3:03 a.m., she looked up, directly into the station's CCTV camera, and smiled. 5 seconds later, she walked into the tunnel. Train operators reported no incident, no collision, no body recovered. But the camera continued recording. And for 0.7 seconds, the same wall of photos appeared again. This time, 47 of them. Every face clear. All perfectly centered. No duplicates. And in the middle, her. Just added. Eyes frozen. Expression vacant. Not in pain. Not afraid. Just still. One detail set this photo apart. Caption. Unlike all others. Handwritten beneath her image. She saw it all. Authorities now believe Subject 0 may not be the beginning of the gallery, but its first witness. And the true trigger for the protocol. Because all 47 collected victims have one thing in common. Each made contact with visual or auditory material linked to the original 0 frame. A photograph theorized to have been captured during a Cold War psychic experiment. Never officially confirmed, but referenced in dozens of declassified memos as the sigh. An image rumored to show the exact moment a human soul left the body. Taken accidentally. Never replicated. The subject was said to be a volunteer. But the result was irreversible. 3 witnesses of the image died within weeks. 2 more vanished. The photo was sealed in a lead-lined vault and lost after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Until now, a new photo surfaced last week on the dark web. Uploaded for 11 seconds. File name, psi.jpg. It showed a woman in a hospital gown exhaling. Her breath forming a shape that looked almost like a hand. Investigators traced the IP. Burner node. Tor routing. But buried in the metadata, one string remained. Frame active. 47 complete. The image was never recovered. But screen captures were logged on 19 devices across 4 countries. Of those 19 users, 8 have gone dark. 5 have been confirmed missing. 2 were found unconscious, repeating the phrase, The gallery is awake. Only 4 remain unaccounted for, and one of them is you. Because this story isn't a warning. It's a mirror. Every word you've heard, every image you've imagined, every time you questioned whether this is fiction, you've moved closer. And the gallery is not after your body. It's after the moment you realize you're being watched, that your fear has been cataloged, that the stillness inside you, the hesitation, that breath you held when something moved behind you, that's the frame. That's all it needs. So if your phone buzzes at 3:03, if a photo appears that you don't remember taking, if your reflection lingers 1 second longer than it should, do not ask questions. Do not seek answers. Do not try to understand. Because the moment you do, 48 of 50, is no longer a question, no longer a theory. The gallery is nearly complete. And it isn't hiding anymore. It's selecting publicly now, choosing deliberately and fast. 2 new names added in under 24 hours. 1, a cybersecurity analyst from Langley. The other, an investigative podcaster who published a leaked memo titled, "The Final Image." Neither disappearance followed a known pattern. There was no 3:03 a.m. timestamp, no flicker, no trace, just silence, followed by a photo, delivered anonymously to separate agencies, postmarked from 2 different countries. But both images were identical. The victims, sitting, eyes forward, a blank wall behind them, framed, still, not distressed, but altered, facial expressions adjusted, symmetry uncanny, skin tones slightly desaturated. One analyst described them as portrait processed, not photographed. And across the bottom of each image, 48 of 50, we see you. The gallery is no longer documenting shadows. It's documenting awareness. 2 entries remain, the final subjects. And now, internal documents confirm, one of them has been identified. A man named Caleb Vance, unknown to the public, but once a part of a classified visual audio research unit known as Project Mirrorfield. His job? To test the psychological effects of exposure to manipulated photographic stimuli. In 2013, he filed a report that was sealed and suppressed. It warned of a phenomenon wherein the viewer does not process the content of an image, but is processed by it. He called it reflective inversion. He claimed certain photos, once altered by unknown variables, could create feedback loops in the human brain, resulting in memory distortion, identity displacement, and in extreme cases, irreversible self-erasure. His report ended with one chilling line: "We are teaching the frame to frame us." The report was dismissed. Vance disappeared 2 months later, presumed dead, until now, because last week, an unlisted livestream appeared on a dormant academic forum. No description, no tags, no comments, just a static shot of a motel room, empty, a single chair, facing the camera. For 49 minutes, nothing happened. Then, at minute 50, a man walked into frame. Thin, disheveled, beard streaked with gray. He looked directly at the lens and said, "You think the gallery takes you when it's ready. But the truth is, it waits until you see yourself the way it sees you." He sat down, lifted a photograph, held it up. Only the back was visible. Black ink scrawled across the paper. Subject 0 was never first. Subject 0 is last. The stream cut. Seconds later, forum users reported every thumbnail of the video began showing a new image. Not of the motel room, not of the man, but of you, the user, staring into the lens, expressionless, framed. Panic spread across dark net circles. Cybersecurity teams tried to isolate the cause, but the code was obfuscated, recursive, self-cloaking. The image wouldn't delete. It remained in the cache, in the previews. Sometimes, even when the screen was off, reflections showed the image still lingering. Some called it a bug. Others called it a signal. And across forums, one message kept appearing: 49 of 50 is watching, meaning the last subject hasn't been chosen. It will be someone watching, someone still asking questions, still refusing to look away. Because the gallery doesn't want you to stop fearing it. It wants you to start expecting it, inviting it, becoming part of it. And once you do, it completes its cycle. 49 becomes 50, and subject 0 returns to frame 1. The loop restarts. A new gallery is born. New eyes, new fear, new stillness. But it all leads back to the same place. A 911 call, a voice in the dark, a hallway, a photograph, and a question no one dares answer. What happens to the picture after it's taken? Because the picture never forgets. It remembers everything, and it's still watching. Every frame, every face, every blink. If you're hearing this, if you're seeing this, ask yourself, are you 50, or are you next? There is no ceremony, no siren, no sound, only silence, and a single notification. 3:03 a.m. Local time everywhere. The message arrives without sender, subject, or body. Just a file. Image.jpg. No one opens it right away. Some never do. But the moment it appears, the counter updates. 50 of 50. The final subject has been selected. But no name is released. No disappearance reported. No photograph distributed. Instead, just a quiet change across the network. Security footage begins to drop frames. Digital archives corrupt in identical sectors. Voice recognition fails in unrelated databases. It's subtle, but synchronized. Something is overriding perception. It started with data. Now it's memory. Investigators working the gallery case can no longer recall basic details. Riley Thorne unsearchable. The 911 call audio file missing. The name Caleb Vance marked as non-existent in public record. Redacted in real time. One forensic linguist said it best. It's not just deleting people. It's deleting the fact they were ever remembered. Which means subject 50 isn't gone. Subject 50 is unseen. Erased not from life, but from awareness. And that changes everything. Because now, the gallery doesn't need to take anyone else. It has everything. And it's moving to phase 2. The archive. Buried within the metadata of the final known gallery image. A line of code. mirror.init_protocol/archive_001. Security teams attempted to intercept it. Too late. At 3:04 a.m., 48 hours after the final selection, dozens of institutional databases received a simultaneous push, all containing an identical folder, untitled, inside a single file, video, 6 minutes, 6 seconds. No title, no audio, just footage, a camera slowly panning across a gallery wall. Each frame contains the same thing, photographs, framed, untouched, undisturbed. One by one, the camera moves from image to image. But as it reaches the 47th photo, the tape begins to glitch. The screen flashes white, not static blankness. Then it resumes. But the 48th, 49th, and 50th frames are empty. No photos, no labels, no glass, just blank matte spaces. Waiting. Then the feed cuts to black for 3 seconds and returns to a mirror, a real mirror, facing the camera. And in the mirror, a figure, not clear, not defined, but present, recording, camera in hand. And behind the figure, the wall, now filled with every photo, all 50, all visible, including the last one, a still shot of the person watching. Whoever plays the file, their face appears in the final frame, even if the player is offline, even if the feed is isolated. The image renders every time, which means the archive isn't just a record. It's a delivery mechanism. The gallery is distributing itself. Each file, each image, each story is part of its expansion. The more it's seen, the more complete it becomes. And there's no stopping it now. Because every copy made, every upload, every repost is another frame rendered, another mirror placed, another observer pulled in. And the worst part? You don't even have to see the image. You just have to know it exists. That's all it needs. Because knowledge leaves a trace. And once you understand the gallery, you're in it. There's no escape, no fix, no filter strong enough to block what's already embedded. And the final twist? Subject Zero was never erased. Subject Zero was never a victim. Subject Zero was the creator. A Cold War asset, trained to manipulate visual response under high psychological stress. But the experiment backfired. He didn't create images. He became one. A recursive identity living inside frames. Invisible. Unstoppable. Endlessly duplicating. The negative man. Not just a myth, but the gallery itself. And he's watching you now. Not from behind a wall. Not from a hallway. Not from a photo. But through your memory. Because the real frame is your mind. And now you're part of the archive. Whether you believe it or not. Whether you look or not. Whether you listen or turn it off. He's there. And the next time you see your reflection blink before you do, don't move. You've already been captured. End of part 2. Subscribe to this channel for more chilling revelation. The archive will return.